You're watching Pyro Media Network.
I gotta tell you something I could do. I could be running around chasing you, but I won't. Cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive, live. If you hadn't run away, every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. And you didn't know me, all you wanted was a game to play, and you couldn't handle that I had my ways. Around your magic and your side chicks, I'm a winner.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Vick, Victorious! Vick, Victorious!
Happy Friday, Junior. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to this week's episode of Dr. Victorious. My name is Dr. Victorious. No, I was kidding. My name is Dr. Nicole D. Vick. I am your host. Yes, I'm so excited to have you here on this first episode of Black History Month. Did y'all know it's the 100th anniversary of Black History Month? So it started in 1926. Carter G. Woodson. It was Negro History Week back then, and it was really about uplifting, right? We all know a lot of the struggles and the strife and the perils of Blackness in America, our history of chattel slavery. Black History Week, Negro History Week / Black History Month became, we need to talk about our accomplishments. We have done some fabulous and amazing things, and we need to uplift those things. And we need to make sure our people understand our history and know what we have done and what we will continue to do. So that's where Black History Month came from. So happy Black History Month. Yay. Each and every week, we explore the intersections of social justice, wellness, and what it means to be fully human, especially from a Black perspective, because as you can tell, I'm Black. I got my Black girl magic earrings on. It is what it is. This week, I'm excited to bring on a special guest. Her name is Ruth Bell. She's founder and lead coach of Fit Vessels Total Wellness. We're going to talk about emotional intelligence, how it impacts stress, communication, and decision-making at work. I'm really wanting Black folk at work to not get burnt out too early in the year. Let's not be burnt out all the way in February, maybe in November, but well, I don't want you to get burnt out at all. But you understand what I'm trying to say. Don't just burn yourself up already, okay? Even though there's so much going on. So I want to bring in some folks that know some things and can have some good conversation about that. Hi, Cyrus. Yay. Nice to have you here. All right. Before we have Ruth come on, we got to do the scroll stroll. Yay. I love this because, like I said, I'm on social media a lot. I'm on Threads. Actually, I think I'm on Threads more so than anywhere else. I don't know what it is about Threads because it's like, well, then why, you could have stayed on Twitter /X, but I didn't. I took my account down. I don't even have it anymore. But something about threads, especially the way I've curated it, I really enjoy it. So I'm on there a lot and I see a lot of things. So that's why you will see that a lot of my scroll is on threads. All right, the first one. Oh man, Man Unit Mayhem. Listen, heavyweight boxer Jarrell Miller had his toupee knocked off his head during his heavyweight fight with Kingsley Obi. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Not tonight. The other day at Madison Square Garden. Now, Miller actually did win, but what I'm trying to figure out, so this is what I'm saying. Personally, I don't have a problem with men that use or wear man units. Like, do what you need to do to feel good about yourself. I mean, we do it. I wear half wigs all the time. I'll be outside like woo woo. So I don't have a problem with them. But what I feel like is like, why come you had that thing on your head and you was about to be sweating in the boxing ring? Did your barber lie to you and say, no, man, it's gonna last. It's gonna stay. Did he lie to you? I feel like you and the barber need to have a conversation because that's crazy. I also will say, men that wear man units, you need to talk to your homegirls because we be knowing. We know. We would have told you, don't do it. You gonna sweat it out. Don't do that. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, all's what it is. Well, he won the match, even though the little thing, it's so crazy because you can just see just like fly back, like, whew, all that glue and stuff just gone. I hope he didn't pay a lot for it because I'd be like, dang, he didn't even last me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? So I just thought that was funny. And like I said, he need to talk to the homegirls because we the experts in the hair extensions and the pieces and things. We would have told you, don't do it. Try something different. Go ball. I don't know. So anyway, that was so funny to me. Let's go to our next one about Shabuzi. Now, Mr. Shabuzi won a Grammy. Congratulations to him. For best country duo group performance ever. With I think he did a song with Jelly Roll, and that's a whole nother conversation. Now he delivered this fabulous, wonderful, emotional speech, but he had said a thing, and I think that Black Americans right now, we are very sensitive and raw. There's a lot happening, and so when people say things that kind of erase us, we do that. So he said that immigrants built this country. And baby, everybody was like, hold on. That's not what had happened. Black Americans who were at the time property, we were enslaved, built a lot of the foundation of this country. Yes, immigrants had roles. Like I know in some of the comments on social media, there were Chinese that built the railroads. There were other, cultures that were brought in to do other things. So I don't want to give the appearance that I'm discrediting the efforts of immigrants in this country. They are very much important and very respected and much needed in this country. So I don't want to come off to say that I'm discrediting what they've done, but he misspoke, and baby, everybody came for him real quick. They ate him up, and he released a statement that people still didn't feel like it went far enough in sort of addressing what he said incorrectly. So yeah, I didn't put the statement up for you to see it, but I mean, he was trying to kind of say, my bad, I misspoke, but I don't think people didn't think it was strong enough. He didn't say, I'm sorry, I actually had the wrong statement. He kind of tiptoed around it a little bit. I think it was a politically correct statement, but I think one of the things my producer and I were talking about before we came on air, and I agree, sometimes we have to be not so quick to jump on people. I feel like he's still relatively young. He definitely also, number two, has a different experience in this country as the child of an immigrant or immigrants. And there is work that could be done, an opportunity to teach. And that's probably what we need to be trying to do instead of sort of pouncing on him. So yes, he misspoke. I'm not saying he didn't. Yes. And where's the opportunity to help him grow and evolve? Because what happens, and come on, let's be realistic. You jump on me about something I did wrong, I don't want to hear nothing you saying. What? That's what I'm doing. I don't want to hear it. So the moment is lost. The opportunity is lost at that point. And so, yeah. Cyrus, the boy needs to educate. He does. But here's the question, Cyrus. The boy needs to educate himself. Whose responsibility is it to educate him? His Nigerian immigrant parents don't have the same lived experience that a Black American in this country had, right? So where was he going to get it? And he sure wasn't going to get it at school. So where was he going to get it? And I do recognize that there is some responsibility on himself. He's grown now. He's not a kid to educate himself. But again, where was this supposed to happen? So I tend to, like, and yes, Kwame, grace for our own. Like, hey, that wasn't the right thing to say. Let me help you understand. Here's a book to read. Here's something to think about. So I don't know. It's just something to think about. But, he misspoke. I feel like the dude in New York, Mondami, said something similar and everybody was like, no. But it is something to think about. And I think words matter. And so when people sort of immigrants built this country, it's like you're erasing an entire legacy of, right, chattel slavery. Like you can't divorce America from that legacy. So I do agree. We can't allow for that to be sort of forgotten and oh well, yeah, no. So I agree with correcting, but how we correct I think is important. And it also to me depends on who says it matters. But yeah, all right, y'all, the last one, BHM props, Black History Month props. So kind of a sort of contrast to the Shabuzi situation. I'm starting to see a lot of what we would consider immigrants, right? Maybe the children of immigrants, Nigerians, Haitians, maybe folks from other parts of the diaspora who are here, giving some very, very appropriate props to Black Americans, understanding that oftentimes the only reason why they're even here in the first place to be able to do a thing is from the foundation that was set by us. The fights and the struggles that we kind of pushed through and pushed forward made it possible for other folks to be here. So I really am really, appreciative of sort of that thought process, because oftentimes you don't always see that from what we call, our immigrant community, our Black immigrant community. I know y'all have seen the video of, I forgot that comedian, I know black, the whole Dominican thing. Sometimes we see people try to divorce themselves from Blackness, and it's like, literally, you look like just like me. You could be my cousin, but how you not Black? So we sometimes see that. So to see the messaging be different is very refreshing. And I appreciate that. So I wanted to make sure I lifted that comment up in our Stroll Scroll. So that's all we got for the Stroll Scroll. No controversy, nothing too tough. I kept it light this week, y'all. We're gonna go to commercial, and then when we come back, we're gonna bring on our guest. See you in a bit.
Hey, it's Pastor Kim from It's Just Kim Live Show, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
Oh my gosh, those commercials were like amazing and fancy. I'm like, what? Very, very proud to be a member of the Pyro Media Network family. Yeah. All right, y'all. We have an amazing guest we're going to bring on. We're going to bring on Ruth Bell, who's going to talk to us about emotional intelligence and workplace stress. And I'm like, I'm interested to hear more because I mean, I feel like I think I know what emotional intelligence is. I feel like in my spirit it's there, but I can't say that I could say it back like what it is. So we finna learn something today. All right, Ruth, come on, educate us. Hey.
So good to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Super excited about this conversation.
I am too. And first, I don't know if you want to talk about it. You mentioned, I saw in our, we have a group chat in the background, y'all. Y'all don't know that. I don't know if you want to comment on the immigrant conversation. It's up to you. We can skip it or you touch on it.
I will say this. I am not just the daughter of immigrants, but I am an immigrant myself, born and raised for a portion of my life outside of the US. And as a child, I traveled back and forth from my birth country to the US. I remember growing up, Black Americans in the neighborhood and the school that I went to didn't understand me because they didn't understand my accent. When I went back to my home country, they didn't understand me. So I felt like I didn't have a full identity. This actually is the precursor to why I'm so invested in emotional health. Because one of the keys to having good emotional health, as far as I'm concerned, is to know your identity, to be rooted in it. If I can say, I am Black. I've heard people tell me as I'm coming up that you're not Black, you're Jamaican. I'm like, actually, that's not how that works. And there's nationality versus your ethnicity or race. Because just like America has different ethnicities, so does other countries. And so when people see an Asian person with a Caribbean accent, they're like, why do you have that? Because this is where I was born and that's where I'm from. Same. It's like exactly the same. I will say all of the races, like the major ones, are also there. All of them. Born, bred, raised, multi-generational, just like here. So it's an interesting topic. I think people like to other people. And if we can stop othering, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So let's not do that.
Right. 100% agree. And I think one of the other things, and then after this, we can actually get to what we're supposed to be talking about. But the other thing I think a lot of people forget, like, hello. So let's use Jamaica as an example. All the, whereas Black people in the Americas, we was all on the same route on the dang on slave ship. Hello. Like what? Yeah. People think they think that y'all are native to that landmass that's called Jamaica. Like, no, we all like what?
And actually, it's really sad because the people, the islanders that were native to Jamaica now no longer exist, which is very sad. They were the Tajín Indians. Some when I was growing up, we called them Arawaks. So Arawak Indians lived in Jamaica, and that ethnicity is no longer on the planet.
See,
sad.
So
thank you.
We might have to bring you back for that conversation. I don't know, because I feel like that's a conversation worth having for sure. And I don't think we talk enough about it in our communities especially because we're in California, immigrant tends to mean Latino, Latinx, That's what or Asian maybe, but we tend to think Mexico, right? We don't think about, wait, there's other types of immigrants. So thank you for giving me that little bit of sort of input and insight into that whole conversation, because I think it's important. So let's talk about what we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
So I feel like I've known you forever. I don't even remember how we met. And to me, that's a good thing. When I don't remember how I know somebody, that's a fabulous thing, because that means in my mind, you've always been around and you've always been a part of my life. And I'm happy about that. So I don't remember. If you know, that's fine. It don't matter. But you have this amazing conversation, and we're going to talk about emotional intelligence and work. And so when people hear emotional intelligence, they often think of it being soft or abstract, kind of like when I talk about psychological safety, like it's in the clouds or something. How do you define emotional intelligence in a workplace context?
So the definition of emotional intelligence that I like is one where you're aware of yourself. You're aware that you're having an emotional response whenever you're having an emotional response. You're also able to read the room so you can recognize when other people are having emotional responses. It's not a situation where you're trying to avoid the emotion, but you are going to be intentionally responsive with it. Like, I know I'm having an emotion right now. I am going to choose how I'm going to respond. And I'm not going to let it be like a free for all and I'm just going to explode. I'm also not going to just diminish it, avoid it, or pretend that it's not there.
Wow. One of the things that, as you were talking about that, and sorry, I have questions, but sometimes, stuff comes to mind for me and I go off script. One of the things that what you just said brings up for me is, in the workplace, you have people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different lived experience, just all different generations. Folks are just coming into this one space to do this work. And you brought up the fact, to me, it sounds like self-awareness. So you got to be aware of self, aware of what's happening around you. But I have to also be honest and real. Like, a lot of people aren't self-aware and they sure ain't aware of what's going on around them. Like, I don't know if there's an answer to what I'm saying. You don't have to necessarily respond to it, but it's kind of like, dang, how do you even deal with emotional intelligence when you have people that literally are not self-aware? They ain't aware of nobody else, and they just tornado, just through the world like, woo, and don't know what's going on. Like, that's crazy. I wonder how does that work in the workspace?
So to your point, hence the issues. It's like the perfect storm. You're absolutely right. And then when people do become aware of their surroundings, so I'm going to back up. One of my core values, one of my core beliefs is balance. And by balance, I mean not going too far to the left or too far to the right. So if I'm reading the room and I'm being aware of what's happening in the room, it doesn't mean I'm hypervigilant. Like, I'm not spazzing out saying, oh, they're talking about me. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, I think she means this. I'm not judging the room. I'm not trying to figure out the intention behind the things that people are doing or saying. I'm going to use grace, and a person could have been having a bad day. So let's try this again. Because I can control me, I cannot control what other people are doing, saying, feeling, thinking. I cannot control any of that. Should try to control myself, my thoughts, my behaviors, my speech, my opinions. That's the only person that I have control over. So imagine if you're in a room where a person does not have emotional intelligence or very low emotional intelligence, not self-aware, don't realize that they're having an emotional response to something, or if they realize that they're having an emotional response, the only word that they can think of is mad, sad, happy. Like, my language to describe emotions is very limited. So you ask, how can we solve for this? A good emotionally intelligent person is a leader. And a leader is a person who can influence the space around them. Not direct it, not control it, not manipulate it, but influence it. Okay? So it's going to start one person at a time. It'll kind of be like the person who takes up the mantle to decide, you know what, this is important. I want to learn about this. I want to know what this is. They become more self-aware. The good thing about emotional intelligence is that it's a skill. It's a skill that can be learned. I struggled, and this is very meaningful to me because I struggled with my emotions in the workplace while growing up. Not growing up, just like, in my career. And I was like, I don't want to be her. Yeah. There was a day I was like, I don't want to be like that. And then I would see other people who seem to have it all together. And I'm like, ooh, I want to be like that. But then I also see people who avoid having emotion in the moment and also don't necessarily process it outside of the moment. And then it takes a health toll. Like your body keeps score of all of the emotions that go through us. I learned this recently, and it's so powerful. I was like, what's the difference between emotions and feelings? So I'm going to go back and say, I'm a life coach. I am not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. I'm a life coach. So some of these things, the topics that I'm going to mention, can be in therapy, counselor realm. From just an educational standpoint, your emotions, your feelings, your mood, they're not the same thing. They're not exactly the same thing. We use the same terms or the same words for them. So we use feelings and emotions and we transpose them. We're like, either one, it works, but technically they're not really the same thing. So I'm going to give you some definitions. Follow along with me. It's going to be a nice ride.
All right, I'm listening. Come on.
You ready?
Yes.
And I'm hoping that this will be easy to know. Think of your emotion as your automatic nervous system just doing something because it's biology. The biology of your body is to react a certain way when certain things are going on.
Got it.
Okay, when it's cold, the biology of your body is to make you shiver, give you goosebumps because it's cold. That's just biology. When you're doing that, you never think to yourself, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. I should be strong. No, your body is doing what it's designed to do.
Right.
All of our emotions are our body's way of doing what it was designed to do. It's not something that's abnormal.
Okay.
That wow that you just had is the wow I had when I learned this. I was like, oh, so me crying is fine because
right.
So think of your emotions as a chemical release in your body that's automatic, that's normal to have. Just like shivering, just like hunger pangs. If you're hungry, your stomach's going to growl. It's going to do what it just does that. When you get nervous, your mouth gets dry, your palms get wet, your heart beats fast. So when you think of emotions, notice that your body does something. When you get angry, your jaw gets tight. The forehead starts to throb. Like because a chemical was released in your body. Also know this, that chemical wave that comes through your body lasts about 60 to 90 seconds. It lasts much longer when we attach a story and a meaning to the cause, to the stimulus.
Wow.
That now becomes your feelings.
Oh.
The thoughts that are in your mind that are attached to the stimulus, to the emotion. Mm-hmm. And then when you stay in it long, now that's your mood. My mood is like, your mood lasts 2, 3, 5 days. If you keep ruminating on those thoughts.
I mean, this could be the whole episode. You have said so much, because I think what I'm hearing too, from the perspective of what you're saying about being in the workplace and potentially being maybe a supervisor or a manager, you can then start to understand people's behavior. You know, something happens and somebody, that anger, okay, that's an emotion. Okay. It's going to give about a minute, collect their thoughts. It's, we can deal with maybe the repercussions of that anger later once they've settled down, but about 60, 90 seconds, maybe they're angry. It's all right. Then we can try to, you know what I mean? Because
and if you try to solve something while it's happening, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna escalate.
And that makes perfect sense.
So I've learned some skills, some new skills, some somatic exercises that I can do, because it's a bodily reaction. And all of the things that we hear and we don't know why doing that makes sense. And that's why we don't do it. How many times have you heard count to 10 or breathe, or all of those things work if you realize and are self-aware, I'm having an emotional response. I have a series of questions that I ask, and it works.
Wow.
I'm like, most times when people are starting to have an emotion, they don't notice. Like, you don't notice when your heart rate starts to go up. You don't notice it until it's like full blown, it's gone. So if you can start to notice, like, oh, wait, I'm having an emotional response in this meeting. And if you can name it, I'm getting irritated because such and such keeps talking and doesn't stop talking. Whatever the thing is, that's causing that. Or somebody cut you off in traffic on your way to the office, and you just keep thinking about that near miss of an accident to your brand new car that you're still making car payments on. And you know what I'm saying? Or somebody did bounce or put a scratch on that new car. So when you come into the meeting, you're not going to come into the meeting listening to people. So no matter what's said in the meeting, you're triggered, and now I'm upset with you. And the real reason for the upsetness is not the person in the meeting.
Right.
So imagine if every employee could come to meetings noticing that I'm not feeling so well right now. What is it? What just happened? What reminded me of a past event, or what events just happened? What feeling am I feeling? What emotion am I having? And if you're able to name it truthfully, because I'm very notorious in the past, not so much now, but in the past for sure, my face held the emotion that I was feeling. My face is going to have it. I don't have a poker face, not a lick.
Yeah, me neither.
but when I'm now in a meeting at work and I'm irritated, upset, frustrated, whatever, and it's starting to show on my face and people are starting to ask me how I'm feeling, what do I say? I'm all right. Nothing. I'm good. I don't do that anymore because I
Yeah.
realize that that's not telling the truth. I'm not being honest. So now I'll say, you know what? I'm not 100% right now. I have to process something, but just give me a minute. I'll be okay. Just keep going on.
Yeah.
And can I tell you that that clarity helps the other person to have more compassion. They don't push, they don't irritate you by keep asking you what's wrong because you've given them the truth. And it's
Right.
like a two-way street. That's why I'm saying emotional intelligence has a component of influence. So now I've just influenced the whole room.
That is amazing. One of the things that I've had conversations with, so some of the work that I do is around people with disabilities, and they use something I think that's kind of aligned with what you just said about spoons. Like, how many spoons do I have today? And you can kind of say, hey, and it really, I guess the number, I can't remember if it's the number of spoons you have indicates how okay you are, or kind of like what you said, like, well, I'm not 100%. And so one of the things that they talked about is getting used to having that sort of be the innocence icebreaker. Hey, I'm not, I'm okay, or I might need a few more breaks than normal because I'm not my best or whatever. I think one other thing I wanted to say to you in regards to emotions, I watched it, and it's related, but not. I watched this financial planner guy on YouTube. His name is Ramit. I love him. He seems to be very social justice focused, and he helps people, he helps couples with their money. But what I noticed that he does, because he'll talk to the partners, and sometimes, most of the time, it's men. He'll ask a question. Well, how did you feel about your wife, I don't know, spending $1 million and now you don't have any money left? And the guy will say something like, I mean, I don't know. And so what he'll do is he'll say, well, here's a chart with words, with emotions on it. Can you point to it? So it's so funny. He's talking about finances, but he's even in that space helping them understand the emotions tied, because a lot of times money is very emotional. And so he's like, I had problems explaining how I felt about things. And so that's why I have this list of feelings or emotions for you, so you can tell and explain how you're feeling. So if you're not sure, and this is for the audience, if you are feeling something and you don't quite know what it is, there are charts of work, help you. I think I'm anxious. I think I'm angry, because sometimes we're not raised to talk about our feelings in the first place. And so you may need that help to kind of be like, I think it's this, whatever helps to kind of get it out and be able to label what's happening and what you're experiencing. So I just wanted to offer those two things up because it just came to mind as you were talking about that. One of the other things, because we didn't talk through this whole episode, Miss Ruth. We almost done. I don't know if you want to speak to this though. I wanted to talk about emotional intelligence specifically for, I don't know if you have any thoughts about it, because I feel like Black women in the workplace are often the angry Black woman, or, oh, you're very standoffish, and like, so I don't know, do we need to, as Black women in the workspace, do we need to be more in tune with our emotional intelligence? Because I think the other layer of this I'm going to say is that we also have been taught to protect ourselves. We stay silent. I'm not saying nothing. You don't need to know my business. I'm just going to say hi, do my work, and then bye. So I don't know if you even have any thoughts about that, and sort of the stereotype that we have in these workspaces.
I do. So it's interesting that you say that. Here's my perspective on it. This is Ruth's perspective on that. Sometimes people label and judge what they don't understand. That's one. The next thing is many Black women may go into a self-protection, self-preservation mode. And that is, I'm just going to stay silent, quiet. It could just be a sign of a person who's an introvert. that could be it. I am not an introvert. I thought I was, but I'm nowhere near one. I do like alone, being alone and being in solitude and reading, and I'm okay, but I thrive off the energy of other people. I love being around other people. I'm about to give a hint to the world. Like, my love language is quality time. Like, spending quality time with a person at dinner, over a meal, having a group of friends. Like, that's just, I will be there for hours talking. If a person is not like that, it doesn't mean that they're not a kind, loving person. That's not what that means at all. If they are not a hugger, or whatever the thing is that we are going to label as, you have to do these things to be nice, you know what you can do is extend to that person the way that you would like the relationship to be. If they don't talk first, you talk first. You speak. You be the initiator of conversation until it's apparent that this person just, I don't want to talk to you. And that's totally okay. But it doesn't mean that we need to judge people. One of the things that I love is to be curious, not judgmental. Mm-hmm. Curiosity is not asking questions that are like leading questions. Curiosity is wanting to know about the person for the person's sake. Yep. So if I'm learning about people and I'm not judging their demeanor, their way of being is them. Right. And it's not as off-putting as people think.
Absolutely.
So I want to be the friend that I want to have.
Absolutely.
I want to be the friend that I want to have.
Absolutely. This has been an amazing conversation. Y'all, like I was telling y'all, I usually have a script. We went totally off script, but it was perfect. And I think that's the most beautiful thing ever. There were a couple of comments on the came through. Dr. Carrie Young McWilliams said it would be wonderful if teachers would notice this with students. And I agree. I think sometimes the same stereotypes and the same sort of typecasting that happens in the workplace happens in the school setting. Teachers decide that kid is the bad kid, and they don't focus the effort. And so the emotional intelligence gets completely lost. And then we had another comment from Cyrus. Cyrus has a coworker and she has zero emotional intelligence. And frankly, she is an oversharer. That happens. But you know what I learned about oversharers? Sometimes that means that they're not heard at home. Or they're not, so there's some space in their life that they're not heard. And so they feel like they need to share. And the other thing I learned about oversharing too, is sometimes it's a seeking validation. So again, there may be a space in their life where they're not validated. And so they're looking for that maybe in the workspace. So, I also believe, I'm also a fan of giving people grace too, like, she overshares because, and that's okay. And you set your boundary, like, I'll listen to her for 3 minutes and then I'm gonna leave her where she is. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to have you back so we can actually get through all the questions. But I thank you so much for joining. Is there a website or something that people can get more information from you?
Absolutely. So the business is right there. It's www.fitvesselstotalwellness.com. And you can find all about me on the website. So every time people think Fit Vessels, they think, oh, it's a fitness thing. And I'm like, no. Fit meaning able. Fit meaning the right one. Fit meaning you're fit for your purpose.
Awesome.
So yeah, Fit Vessels Total Wellness. If we have time, I have like 5 takeaways from today, if we could.
Let's go to commercial and then we can do the 5 takeaways as I usually do a wrap up. We'll let you do the 5 takeaways as the wrap up. Awesome. So let's go to commercial and then we'll come back for that.
Hey, how y'all doing? Real quick, this is Daryl Walter. host of the Daryl Walter Show. I know. And you are watching Pyro Media Network.
Bring it up. Bring it back.
What's going on, y'all? It's Kwame Speaks from Kwame Speaks Live, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
All right, we're gonna do the doctor's notes. We're gonna do a little differently. I'm gonna give Ruth the torch to do the 5 minute. I mean, not 5 minute, to do her 5 takeaways. Can you do it in about a minute and a half, Ruth?
Definitely.
Let's go.
So the 5 takeaways from today, I'm going to use B words because when you are being something, it's your identity. Now you're going to really do it. So be curious, not judgmental. Know how to read the room. Be responsible for your garden, for your lane, not everybody else's. So know what's in your control, what's not in your control. The things that are in your control, your mind, your thoughts, your speech, your behavior, your actions, everything else is not your responsibility. Be self-aware. Know yourself. Be honest about the emotions that you're having. Notice when you're having them. Be able to name them, like the feelings wheel that you mentioned. It's called the feelings wheel. If anybody wants to look it up online, you can definitely find it. They work really wonderfully. Number 4, be content. Know when enough is enough. Be able to be satisfied. And it doesn't mean you're not going to be ambitious. It doesn't mean that you're not going to keep striving. These are skills that you can achieve. And the last thing is, be gracious and be grateful. Be gracious and grateful, like put them together, the 2 G's. Be gracious and grateful to yourself and to others that are around you.
Beautiful. I'm grateful for you, Ruth. Thank you for being here this evening. Amazing episode. All right, everyone, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you for watching. You know where to find me. I have a fabulous, beautiful website, www.NicoleDVick.com. All the things are there, the books, the things, the podcast episodes I've been on. I also forgot. I'm like, you know what? It's some YouTube videos on there that I've done with BuzzFeed and some other folks. So check out my website. Yay. I have books. You know, I got my 2, Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson, and Push Through, 52 Weeks of Light in Tough Times. The latest one is Triumph in the Trenches. They actually have a 3rd volume now. I am in volume 1. It's an anthology with 20 plus other working professionals. It is the green book for Black working people. And also find me on social media. I'm picking up on my Instagram. It's called Dr. VICKtorious. I renamed my nail page. I was like, you know what? We just need a Dr. VICKtorious Instagram account. And I'm also on LinkedIn. I've been posting really good. I've been doing really, really well. So check me out there. I see some comments from James Ricardo. I learned so much watching this episode. I appreciate you and your guests. Thank you very much, Dr. Vick. Yay. Thank you for joining us. All right, y'all. We gonna go. See you next week. I'm going to have another guest. We're going to be talking about burnout prevention and all that good stuff. So I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.